So, hi students. So today we are going to do some exercise that roughly already gone through the whole chapter 2. So what we do is we are going to do some exercise. What I suggest is don't spend too much time of reading. I mean reading is good, but if you keep on reading, but the time can be utilized to do exercise, which is equally important. So let's do some exercise. Fill the blank with the correct terms. Producer, decomposer, consumer. I think this one is quite straightforward. All green plants that can make their own food through photosynthesis. So which one can go through photosynthesis? Producer, decomposer, or consumer? So I think you guys, you know the answer. The answer for this one will be producer, correct or not? So I just put in the answer here. Producer. Correct or not? So producer actually means the plant, correct or not? If you still remember, standard 6 you learn, and then I think you already learned before, right? Producer means the plant. Means there is a pyramid, correct or not? A pyramid like this, if you still remember, and the most top part will be the the most bottom part. Okay, the most bottom part will be the producer. If you still remember last time we learned, this one is the primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, correct or not? Let's put here. Okay, so we learned before, last time we know that it's from producer, then primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and then decomposer. Producer is the plant, correct or not? And then let's say the plant is eaten by snail, for example. I put here snail. The snail is eaten by, let's say, put chicken. And the chicken is eaten by the snake or eagle. Usually eagle, right? Because I don't know, the book always put eagle as the final the fourth consumer. And then after that, in this chapter, we learn something new from last time when we are small. Is the decomposer, meaning the bacteria, correct or not? From the word, if you know, decompose means from one thing, compose to make one thing, decompose is to break up in the English word, correct or not? I want to compose a song. I want to make a song. So instead of saying I want to make a song, you can say I want to compose a song. To make. Decompose is like to open up, open everything. So of course die already, the bacteria will eat it, correct or not? So just put here the bacteria. After that, after this thing go up, and this thing will keep on repeat, correct or not? After it will become nutrient for the soil, and it will go back to the producer. So what we can see here is I would say this here, we can see this one is slightly about carbon cycle, correct or not? How the carbon from here to become there. We are made of carbon. I know humans are made of water, but most of our element also from our body is actually made up from carbon. So we call it carbon cycle. And so we have a carbon cycle here, and also from here we can see about the energy, correct or not? The energy flow in this diagram. So as it go up, the energy is getting lesser, correct or not? Because the energy is being used for respiration. The energy actually, you know, energy where you get from, there's a place to get from the energy. So as you go up, the chemical energy getting lesser, the decomposer become a nutrient. So basically for us, the main energy we get from is the sun, correct or not? The sun will be the main energy, because this is the sun that help to facilitate the process of photosynthesis. And as it go up, there will be lesser and lesser energy lost due to respiration, movement, and chemical energy, physics, and so on. So let's look at this question. Animals that eat other animals. So which one is this one? So this one will be consumer, correct or not? Like we always use in the shopping mall, right? You want to buy thing, you are the consumer, customer. So again, for the English word, we want to learn, instead of writing the customer, how customer feel about the product, how consumer feel for the product. You are also consumer for Eon Big. You are the consumer for Jai during my time, or consumer for Pasar Raya Econ Safe, instead of using customer. So yeah, we can play with words so we can write a better essay. Organism that decompose that organism into simple substance. Okay, so that organism. So we know this is the decomposer. So just type this now. Decomposer. That's it. We are done for this one. Quite easy. Match the following terms to the correct example. So for this one, the producer is the grass, correct or not? From the most bottom. Then consumer will be the grasshopper, because the grasshopper eat the thing, right? And then the decomposer is the bacteria. So for Form 2, of course you learn until bacteria. Then when you go to Form 4, Form 5, you will learn the name of the bacteria. So you, year by year, you are more and more details as you learn science. And when you go to university, when you go to a master and PhD, you are going even in a more in-depth way, but it's still the same thing. Okay, underline the correct answer. Food chain, food web is the transfer of energy on plant through the serial process between organisms in a chain nutrient. So where is the keyword? Let's see. I think the keyword is here. Chain nutrient. So if you are talking about chain, you know chain is something like, you know chain, right? I just draw the chain. This is the chain. Let me draw chain. To chain the door, for example. So what is the answer for 2A and 2B? So we're talking about food chain, a line. So this will be the food chain. Let's see. When there are several food chains within an ecosystem, the relationship between them will form a food web. Correct or not? I mean, it looks like a chain, right? For example, grass, and then to grasshopper, and then it become, let's say, chicken. Okay, so this is a chain, one line. If you have many lines, I add in here, I add here, I add in here, a lot of arrow, up and down the arrow. So it will be a food web, correct or not? Number 3, diagram 1 shows part of a paddy field ecosystem. So we can see, yep, this is another example of food web, correct or not? Arrow up here and there, okay? Food web, let's see, they got asked the question for food chain or not. No, they didn't ask. So maybe I can just ask. So from here, there's a few food chain. Sometimes the question will ask, how many food chain in this food web? So let's write this question. So let's count how many food chain in this food web. So let's start from here. Here, go up to here. So this is considered 1. And then go like this. 2. Go like this. 3. So go like this. 4. So basically there are 4 food chain in this food web, correct or not? It cannot be more, it cannot be less, unless unless I count wrongly. So I just say 4 food chain. Okay, moving on with the next question. Based on the diagram, name the producer in the ecosystem. So maybe I want to write paddy plant. Okay, yeah, paddy plant. Okay, you know paddy plant, right? The rice that you eat. Though it looks more like grass. Take correct consumer in the food web. So what is the consumer in this food web? Okay, so in this, so we see how many consumer. Okay, so got the caterpillar, the bird, the grasshopper, the frog, and the snake will be the consumer. Okay, because they consume. Let's put this thing. Caterpillar, grasshopper, frog, snake, and sparrow. The bird, okay, the bird, the sparrow. The correct primary, let's highlight these words. Carnivore. You know what is carnivore, right? Carnivore is the animal that eat only meat. Dinosaur are, depending on what dinosaur, right? Some dinosaurs are herbivore and omnivore, but the one that we always see in TV is carnivore. Okay, if no, then there's no sure. Okay, so carnivore, which one is carnivore? Okay, so the carnivore will be snake and frog, correct or not? Because we can see here, the frog only eat grasshopper and the snake eat bird and this one. The bird is omnivore, correct or not? If you still remember, because omnivore means you got eat the grass and the animal, and the caterpillar will be herbivore because the grasshopper only eat vegetable, correct or not? Okay, let's move on. Which organism has the highest energy? Circle your answer in the diagram. So as we learn, the highest energy is the producer. As you go up, the energy is lesser because the energy is lost through transpiration and moving and so on. So for this question, we can see that circle the diagram with the highest energy. So which one you want to circle? So it will be the grasshopper, the paddy plant, correct or not? This is the highest energy. As I said, for this one, you can see here the lowest is the highest energy. As it go up, its energy is like this one got more energy, and here got less energy. And this is the plant, paddy plant. That is why the answer is this one. Can you understand or not? So it's like a pyramid. The most bottom is the most energy. So the most bottom is the plant. The most less energy will be the snake. Less energy. We are not talking about the snake can move, so the snake got more energy. We are not talking about this. We are talking about energy in the sense that, how to say this thing? One of the way we can see this is in terms of quantity. Which one is more? The snake is small or the paddy field is small? The plant is more. The plant will have more energy. As it go up, it is getting less and less energy. In terms of quantity, yes. I mean, if I want to collect the whole world of plant, I put on the left side, and the whole world of the snake, I put on the right side. Of course, the plant is more heavy than the snake. Energy means First thing we need to define what is energy. We can easily define energy as how much it can burn. That's why we say burn calorie. Burn calorie and calorie equivalent to the energy that you produce. So actually calorie is equivalent to energy, or how much of energy. How much energy that you burn. If I want to take all the grass in the world to burn it, compared to the snake, the whole tree will produce more energy. And the snake will produce a lot, even because it's the whole world snake that you are burning. But you cannot compare it with plant. Plant is a lot more, okay, a lot more energy. Cannot. And how they get the energy? From the sun. The primary source of power, let's say the question asked what is the primary source of power. So your primary source of power, energy, they will say is from the sun, correct or not? They got sunlight and you keep on, move the whole ecosystem in the world until the sun disappear lah. Then it will be, yep, then everyone will die. Okay, so yep, we already circle the energy. State 2 ways the energy may be lost. We already learned energy cannot be created, energy cannot be destroyed. Energy only can change from one form to the another form. So as it go up, the energy is getting lesser because the energy is lost. Where does the energy lost? So the energy is lost through respiration and defecation. Respiration means or moving or reproduction or correct. As I'm talking with you, I'm using energy. I'm not burning. You didn't take fire to burn me, but I'm actually, my body is burning the food that I eat. Correct or not? That's why I'm around here. If I'm going to put human is around up here because they are using the energy, and there's the energy loss. As it go up, energy is lost due to the thing that you are doing right now, like talking. When we study engineering, we always figure out that energy is lost through many ways, and we try to minimize the loss of energy. For example, if I have a petrol, I have a car, I have an engine, and I want to make it move, which is actually kinetic energy. So this engine is using a chemical energy. Petrol or not. Let's say the engine, I got a petrol, I burn it so I can get the energy. So let's say I got 100% of engine energy. Even now, we are so advanced, we only manage to use around the most efficient energy will be 55% energy that is being transferred. There's a formula to count this, okay, but we are not going to do that. And some of the energy is lost for a car engine. For example, it's lost through sound energy, and it's lost through heat energy, correct or not? Because your car is very hot. So even though the most efficient engine is like using 55% of the energy, you can count this. There's a formula to count this, but this is what thing they found out. And some of the energy is lost, correct or not? When you turn on the engine, there's a sound, and there's a heat, but you don't want this energy because eventually you add up, you still get 100%. This is called the conservation of energy, correct or not? Principle of conservation of energy means you cannot create, you cannot destroy, you only transfer from one thing to another thing. So energy is lost. As it go up, the energy also lost because respiration, I'm breathing. Defecation means this one is berak. So I write here taik lah. But you don't write here shitting, right? You don't write the answer in the sign because the energy is lost through shitting. We call it defecation. It's a better word. Why we say energy is lost through defecation? The feces or the tai can become oil. Do you know that? I mean, now the petrol we use is actually from the dinosaur bone, dinosaur fossil, but actually also it's come from the dinosaur tai, correct or not? After you berak, and you compose all the tai, it will actually become gas. Compress it further, you can make it to become petrol. So you're not going to learn until that, but just to know that the tai can become petrol, correct or not? Now some is very high tech lah. They can use it to make it to methane gas. I think in Malaysia there are certain places that do this. Okay, so yeah, energy is lost. Explain the relationship between grasshopper and frog in controlling the population size in the ecosystem. So this question is talking about relationship between grasshopper and frog. So in science relationship, we can say either grasshopper go up, the frog numbers go down. So there's a relationship. Or grasshopper become more, the frog also will become more. Something like that. But there's a relationship. So what is the relationship between grasshopper and frog? Okay, so if the number of frog increase, the number of grasshopper decrease, correct or not? Because more frog are eating the grasshopper. If the number of grasshopper increase, the number of frog decrease, correct or not? Because no frog eat the grasshopper, so grasshopper become more. So this is what we are talking about science in terms of population. Because actually this is not something that they do for fun. They already study. When you go to Form 4, Form 5, they will give you this graph. Sometimes like depend on the question. Let's say the blue color line is the frog. So I just draw the frog line. And the red color line is the grasshopper. So it will be something like this. As this one increase, the grasshopper, the frog will decrease. As the grasshopper increase, it will decrease. So it will be the population in terms of timing. For example, I write here January, February, and March. So of course, it's not something like this. Like it will be a bit up down a bit lah. Huh? So, but there is a certain pattern that we can see. From this pattern, we can see that usually when something the prey increase, the predator decrease, then the prey will increase, something like that. So yeah, this is the relationship, correct or not? In science, when we ask question about relationship, it's not boyfriend and girlfriend relationship. If the thing more or less, then what will happen? Correct or not? If more electric, the car will move faster. If less electric, the car will move slower. So this is a relationship hypothesis that we can test. If the food is very nice, more customer. If the food is not nice, less customer. It's still a relationship. So we can test. Until you do business or what, you also want to test it, right? Maybe people come not because the food is nice. You don't never know because you always thought that okay, restaurant is nice. So maybe people come because the chair is very beautiful. Correct or not? Sometimes like I don't know, like Starbucks or what. Maybe people come not because they want to drink coffee. Coffee a lot of people can drink, but because Safa at Starbucks you got a very nice sofa. You can sit down. You can do your work. Then you can take Instagram, talk with your friend. So maybe the new relationship we can form is if the place is more beautiful, then more customer will come. So which one is the priority? You want to test. So you can prioritize your business, what business that you want to do, and what is more important for your business, either the food or maybe the environment that you need to change. So all this is not like I say, you say, he say. All these things need to be studied. All these things need to be tested. That eventually never know. Actually, Starbucks, BMW, or whatever the big company are, they are spending millions for quality improvement. They will do their research, they will do the relationship observation, and they want to know what are the things for their product to improve, and also they will do like which staff need to pay higher. They will do the relationship even for the KPI, means your performance for the staff, which one should be the manager, which one should be the what. I mean, I got a friend, they say BMW paying them million. So they will pretend to be customer and they will go and ask, or then they will, from there, they will evaluate which employee is doing better. And then they will give the survey. So BMW is putting million into but my friend is not the big boss, like just a normal survey worker. Yep, so it's very nice to learn science. It also help us to do business in the future. Decomposer play an important role in ecosystem. Correct or not? Decomposer, when they are talking about decomposer, straight away I know it's bacteria, because bacteria eat that organism. One day, bacteria will eat me and you. Like it or not, no matter how pretty we are, one day, the bacteria is going to eat our face. Name one example of decomposer and explain its role. So name one example of the decomposer. So we can say that it's bacteria. Correct or not? The composer name will be the bacteria. So this question will be a 2-mark question since they are asking 2 questions. So I already answered the first question. Name one example, okay, bacteria. And the role, what is the role of bacteria? Of course, I can write it like, okay, to break down what? To break down that organism into simple substance. Right now, I want to break it down to a smaller molecule. That's why we call it a simple substance. Okay, of course, this one is more complex lah. When you break it down, it become more simple substance like what? For example, we are made of glucose, simple substance like nutrient, hydrogen, H2O, O2. This is more simple. For that organism is more complex. For example, even for sugar is C6H12O6. And it can be like very, very long. Very long, the equation. This one is getting quite simple molecule that can be absorbed by the plant. Okay. H. Oh yeah, this is the last question. Okay. Diagram 2 show the pyramid of number. Correct or not? Paddy, rat, snake, and eagle. Again, I want to emphasize again, as you go up, the quantity is getting lesser, means less animal up there, and the energy also getting lesser. Correct or not? Because I already repeat many times, but I'm not sure whether you understand or not. The energy is getting lesser because energy lost due to respiration and defecation and moving and a lot. But just the most simple one is respiration and defecation. So this diagram actually can show 2 things. It shows the quantity, as you go up become lesser. It also shows the energy is getting lesser. Okay, draw an arrow on the diagram to show the flow of energy. So, I already draw, okay, the arrow. State the organism that is most abundant. What is abundant? You don't know. So you read Bahasa Melayu. Paling banyak means the most. So which one is the most? The paddy or the eagle? So of course it is the paddy lah, okay? So I just write here paddy. Correct or not? We got more paddy than the actually when they are talking here, they are not talking about just the paddy. Actually the concept they want to bring up is this is the producer. Because paddy, some people you need to plant it, God. But the main point of this whole idea is plant got more energy than tertiary consumer. Plant is more and has more energy than primary consumer, and so on. Okay, so that's it for this video, and we're going to continue this in the next video. Thank you and bye bye.